Alrighty, something simple to get started with. I already walked Johnny through the tuning, but I'll do the same thing in this vid just to sort of get it down recorded. So when we look at the strings, the highest string is referred to as the first string. So first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. In Will's case, seventh, eighth, Mr. Big Hands. So essentially, just come up with your own acronym or go and look one up for E, B, G, D, A, E. Or if you can remember the other way, E, A, D, G, B, E. Now, the way that the tuning works on this is that if we just roll from, might do some tuning and some notes in this together. So that being E, if you know anything about a piano, you know that you've got white keys and you've got black keys. The white keys are whole notes, and your black keys are your sharps and flats. And as I was explaining to Will, a sharp and a flat is the same thing. It's just contextually, are you coming down from high, in which case it's flat, or are you going up from low, in which case it's high? So if we roll through on a keyboard, it's the same as it is on a guitar. You've got all the notes from A through to G, and then it goes back to A again. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G. They all have a sharp in between them. I'm just going to refer to them as sharps rather than sharps and flats. They all have a sharp between them, except for B, C, and E, F. Those ones, it only takes one fret movement to get to the next whole note. Okay, so in this case of this string here and the string here, both being E, F is then the first fret. We're just making one fret movement. So we go from E to F. But then we go up to F sharp, G, G sharp, and then back to A. We loop back to A after G. Now with this being A, and the second string here also being A, they should sound the same. So this one being A, and this one being A. They're slightly off. I don't know if you could hear that. I haven't tuned my guitar. I do have my handy dandy little tuner here. I'm not going to worry about it for this exercise. But essentially those two should sound the same. So even if you get one string tuned, if you know for a fact that one of your strings is in tune, you should be able to tune the rest of the guitar based off that one string. If it was this string, then I would know, okay, well, I just need to go and make this one sound the same. And it's the same thing for the string below that. This was D, and the string below that is D. And so the way that works on the fretboard here, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, remembering that E, F, and B, C, they only have one fret movement for the whole note. C sharp, and then that fifth fret being D, which is the same as the string below it. Same thing works again for the next string, where this is a G, and the string below it is a G. Now this next string, the third string, or the fourth string down, that's the only exception where you go to the fourth fret instead. If you want reasons, I don't have them. So you go to the fourth fret instead. And if we count those notes up, again, this one being G, this open string being G, G sharp, A sharp, B. And the way that the guitar is tuned is E, A, D, G, B, E. So we go B, tuned to the string below it. After that, we come back to the fifth fret again, which is this one here. So we've got B, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E. Now what's useful about knowing this is not just being able to tune your guitar, but also figure out different ways, easier ways, more fluent ways to play something that you're trying to play. Will mentioned that he was playing Smoke on the Water, and he was playing it this way, I imagine. Now, from what we just learned, we know that we can play this note and this note on the next string down. This one being the open A, and this one being the A sharp. So let's try it again, but we'll use both the two top strings there, string 5, string 6. In Will's case, I don't know what string you were using. If you're using the 8th string, I don't know what to tell you. But so most people, when they first learn to play Smoke on the Water, they start on that top string, on that E string, on that open E. Okay, so we'll just do it from there. So I'm going to use these two notes down here instead. I'm going to keep on using just one finger though, okay? So you'll notice that I use my finger not only to press the notes, but also to mute the notes. So I'll play that first part again. You'll watch me mute the A string so that it doesn't ring through into the next notes that I play or rattle out while I play the next notes. Oh, let's try that again. Oh. It's a really hard song, guys. Another thing that I was doing is using this backhand here to actually mute notes at times. I'll pluck the note, but then I might also silence the string with it. And you'll do that a lot depending on what you're playing. This is something that Will asked me as well, is do you mute the strings with your chord hand? That's me doing it with my chord hand. Just letting go a bit, and so they stop ringing out. Or do you just let them ring out? Or what do you do? It's really contextual, because there are times where I will let them ring out. There are other times where I will mute them with the chord hand or with the note hand. There are times where I'll mute it with my... if I'm not using a pick, I suppose it makes sense. I do it with this hand here, with the same finger that plucked it. But a lot of the time, especially maybe in metal playing and stuff, but in all forms of music, you'll actually use the back part of your hand here and you'll rest it against the strings. Sometimes you'll just do it down here. If I do it, I'm going to start like with my hand all the way off here. I'm going to slowly go on to here to show you what it sounds like. So all the way off. And then it gets real bad. Just clicky clacky. So open, ringing out to a soft palm mute. Still has a little bit of ring. To a heavy palm mute. Bit more gritty. So those are all different techniques you can use to mute a string, and that's what I'll use as I play things. You'll see. Just through practice, if you're finding something's ringing out or rattling out in a way that you don't like it, practice it, what works best in the context of what you're playing. Do you want to use your hand down here to stop it? Or do you want to use your hand up here to stop it? So it just comes down to the player and the context. Back to Smoke on the Water. Playing it on E is where most people start. Playing it with one finger is where most people start. I'm going to change my fingering now to use 3 of my fingers, because these are the 3 notes that I'm playing. Doot, 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 and then the open. So I'm just going to use those fingers there. Now my hand doesn't have to move at all. Now I'm not doing a lot of this, trying to move my hand and make sure it's in the right place, but I've had to train my fingers to hold the note hard enough. Now, the next step here is moving to where it's actually supposed to be played, starting on the G. So we're going to go G, A sharp, C. Is that C? Where am I? Yeah, A sharp, B, C. G, A sharp, C, G, A sharp, C sharp, C. Those are the actual notes there. And I can use the same 3 fingers that I've just used on top to play those notes here. I could instead play them up here the same way that you were using your finger, except you've got one extra note to play with your finger because you're starting from the G and not the open E. So instead of going, I'm going to go So we're going 3rd fret, 6th fret, 8th fret, 3rd, 6th, 9th, 8th. And do this with a pick, by the way, guys. Like, you don't have to be plucking like I'm plucking, especially not on an electric. Okay? But instead, I'm going to play it over here. Okay, so that's the fingering, and once you get that down, then you can start turning these into power chords, where each one of these notes that you started with, we are going to put our index finger on them. We are going to put our index finger on every single one of them. But what we're going to couple it with is what they call a 5th chord or a power chord. And if I knew my music theory well enough, I could tell you what a 5th chord is. It has something to do with being the 5th. So from the 1st note, it's like the 5th note in that scale progression. Playing the 1st and the 5th note in that scale progression together makes it a 5th chord. In retard rock language, it's just a power chord, bro. And you would have seen me playing it before, and I was adding in that other pinky underneath. And a quick tip here is, when you change your shape from that simple power chord, which you can just drag anywhere you like, when you add that pinky in, you're just rounding out the power chord with the octave of the 1st note. They're both G. If you remember, that's the 5th fret, which is tuned to this string here, E, A, D, G, B, E, G, E, F, F sharp, G. So those 2 notes there, they're both G. And it just rounds out your chord. So instead of being a power, so we got a G note, we got a G power chord or 5th chord, and then we've got it fully rounded out with the octave below, a higher octave as well. Fully rounds it out. Let me get this rattle out of here. So with that power chord, we're going to play Smoke on the Water here. So we do exactly everything we were doing before, except now we're doing it with our index finger, and we're coupling it with the 5th chord, which is just going to be this shape here. It's your note, 1 string down, 2 frets across. Okay, no matter where you play it, except there is an exception, and it's just got to do with how we tuned this to the 4th fret instead of the 5th fret. If you want to do a power chord down here, it doesn't quite work. You've actually got to go up a fret, and it's just for that 1 string all the way up. Okay, but we're not worried about that right now. We're playing Smoke on the Water, baby. So here we go. Be a really good thing to practice going through and understanding what we went through in this video. We'll do another one another time. Enjoy, boys.